Hello, everyone. I'm back. I hope you all are having a wonderful summer and also wonderful summer with your kids. Hope your kids are having a great summer too. And it has been so busy for me this summer, but of course, I'm always thinking about you. And I was thinking, wow, what changes and what challenges is everyone going through during this summer with kids being at home more or being home less. And so as I was thinking about it, I'm always reading too, but I found some very shocking, or I should say, a shocking statistic that 1 million children in the US have parents who actually divorce each year. And to me, that was like, whoa, that actually highlights the prevalence of, co-parenting. And I can only imagine how much it impacts us, even especially during the summertime. So today I want to really dive into, what's truly best for the child. That's one thing that I talk about all the time, having the child first method, and as well as, co-parenting not just being about us, or really it's not really about the co-parent. it's about ensuring the well-being and the stability of our children that's involved. So however, the road to effective co-parenting is often paved with a lot of challenges, especially early after a divorce or breakup. And remember, I mean, I'm on this journey with you. So, and I'm here to provide as much support and as much encouragement as possible. So, one of the major difficulties that children face when parents don't co parent successfully, or I should say effectively, is emotional distress and confusion. And that lack of communication, consistency, and cooperation between parents, it can really have a detrimental impact on our children's mental health and the emotional well-being. Now, as you know, the child first method, it really focuses on the child. We overall benefit from it, but I'm really passionate about our children having good emotional and mental health. So it's a comprehensive approach to co-parenting, and it emphasizes effective communication, collaboration, and prioritizing the well-being of our child. And if you've heard this before in regards to the child first method, it stands for, or I should say, it's an acronym. The child is an acronym. Communication is the C, which emphasizes or involves the partnership and collaboration efforts. The H is honoring the other parent's role. I, involvement with the child. The L, letting go of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And the D, determining everything to think about the child and what's in the best interest of the child together. So we're going to really dive into, what's best for the child, especially as we're maneuvering through this summer time, and also communication, because we can't have, and if you remember when I went through the 21-day journey that I have, it wasn't 30 days. Yes, 30 days of my co-parenting journey, we really dove into these specifics of the child first method. And communication is the cornerstone of the child first method, because without communication, without effective communication, we cannot effectively co parent successfully. So, in my research, I also learned that 68% of marriages that ended they actually ended primarily because of communication problems. So this is really not hard to believe because, we're constantly hearing, men are for Mars, women are for Venus, and we can't understand each other, left brain, right brain, all these things that we hear as relates to communication, is really not hard to believe that we have difficulties in our relationships. And in any relationship, the co-parenting relationship can be one of them, but it doesn't have to be. So, our working definition for effective communication, I want you all to continue to keep this definition in the back of your mind as we are talking today, is, and let me know if any of this resonates with you as I go through this talk today, and also kind of share some of your insights and some of your wins or challenges that you might have as well, because I would love to hear about them. I would love to read them because I read all of the comments and I will respond to you. So please let me know your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. I would just love to know either way. Okay. So effective communication is the process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. So I'm going to repeat that again, and I hope you're writing this down because this is a really good definition, not just for co-parenting, but for our relationship with our kids, for our relationship with our parents, siblings, friends, spouses, whomever, partners. So effective communication is the process of exchanging ideas. So where is an exchange of ideas, an exchange of thoughts. It's not just one-sided. It's an exchange of knowledge. It's an exchange of data so that the message is actually received and it's understood. You know, a lot of times we get confused by what someone might say, but we might not even have understood it. But we're actually understanding it with clarity and with purpose. So you can only imagine when we effectively communicate, you know, both parties can be satisfied when you agree because everybody is exchanging their thoughts, their opinions, their ideas. Everyone is being heard. And at the end, because clarity is received, we both feel satisfied. So that is what we're working towards. And communication, effective communication is work. It's something that we have to constantly do. Okay. So how can parents, how can co-parents really navigate the complexity of of our journey successfully? How can we do that? Guess what I was about to say. It starts with communication, effective communication. So we need to prioritize open and honest communication. But we can assure our child's needs are being met consistently because it takes work. Communication takes work. Effective communication takes work. In order for us to consistently meet our kids' needs, that's what we have to do. So consistency is the key to providing stability, whether it's routines, rules, expectations. Putting the child's needs first, it should always be our top priority. Even with it seems that, you know, the other person does not agree or they have differences than what we have, different opinions, different insights, or whatever. You know, we are looking at, okay, what is best for the child in this instance. So I kind of want to talk about 7 things that can kind of guide us through making a decision. How do I, you know, Coach Tiffany, how do I prioritize my child's need first? You know, how can it be made simple? Because it's simple to say, you know, put the child first. And everybody say, oh yeah, I'm going to put my child first. But what does that look like? So I'm going to give you 6 things, not 10, 6 things on how that actually looks. And I hope you all are still writing, because these are definitely things that you want to write down as well. And remember, we're still keeping our communication, our effective communication definition in the forefront of our mind, because we want to be able to utilize that as the foundation of these 6 things. Okay, so the first one is we have to actually access, what the child needs and what their interest is. We want to actually identify their needs. And this can apply and will be different for every age group, because what a baby needs is different from what a teenager needs. So we're going to consider, their physical, emotional, educational, social needs. We're going to include their health and safety and developmental, whatever is required during for that time. And we also want to understand their interest. As they get older, they're able to verbalize, um, what their interests are, whether it's in music or in a sport or whatever the case may be. We want to understand what those interests are. And even as when they're younger and when they can't necessarily verbalize it, we can observe, what is it that they're really into? What is it that they enjoy? And as we know, our kids can act differently with each parent. For the most part, kids can be the same, but they get different. Certain things that my children might say to me, they might not say to their dad, and vice versa. So it's so important that we constantly are in communication with one another. Remember, communication is the cornerstone of the child first method, and determining what's best for the child is part of that. So we want to take into account the child's interests, their preference, their talents, and we also want to listen to the child. We want to, they're people, they're little people that we are training up to be adults. We're training up to be um, adults who will be the best versions of themselves. We're giving them a good foundation, a good start in life. So we're going to do all of that. So the first one is we're going to assess our child's needs and interest. Was that one good? I thought it was a good one. This is a good one to start off with, because we got to know what it is that we're putting first in regards to the child. All right. So the second one is we're going to gather input from both parents. Remember, I was telling you how the child they can and will act differently with both of us. So we're going to communicate openly with one another. That's what we're gonna do. I know it's hard. Remember now, this child first method is for parents who are healthy or working towards healthy. Okay, so we cannot, especially these are parents who want the best for their kids. These are parents who are willing to work together for the best interest of their child. And even when there's not a parent that um, is not working with you the way you want them to, there's still a process. It's still a process where you can get them involved and you can earn their trust, which is in other talks that I've talked about. But it is possible. So we're going to be open and honest with the other co-parents, and we're going to share perspectives and insights about what the child needs. It's been a few times to where the boy's dad and I, we have had to to just say, hey, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm observing with one of our sons. What are you seeing? What do you think they need? And remember, this is our children is our business, and we are wanting to run our business successfully. And the only way we can do that is if we communicate with one another. Okay. And we're gonna respect each other's views. Why communicate if we cannot accept and respect each other's views? We're going to acknowledge We're going to accept respect their perspective, their contribution to what it is they're seeing, their understanding about the child. Because remember, our child is our focus. We both want the best for our child. This does not have anything to do with us or our previous relationship with them. This is all about our child. Okay. So that was number two, gathering input from the other parent. And the third one is involving the child appropriately. Now, as the child gets older, it's so much easier to make decisions, in regards to what it is that we're going to, that's really in the best interest of the child. Because, this time there's been times when we've had to sit our boys down, depending on, of course, is especially when you're dealing with one of them, sit them down and say, okay, what is it that you think about this situation? How are you feeling in regards to this situation? What is it that you want to do? And I think overall, this is so important when I think about putting the child's needs first. Early in the breakup and the divorce, the child, they feel so isolated. They feel so they're not involved in the decision of their family, their in-house family separating. So when we involve the child in situations, especially when these children are older, to make certain decisions in regards to their life, it gives them some type of autonomy. It gives them some type of empowerment to help them. It just gives them confidence. Remember, we are wanting our children to emotionally be healthy, mentally be healthy. So involving them in the discussions and the decisions that affect them, it is huge, and it makes them feel valued and heard. And it's so important, and it really encourages them to share their feelings as well, and their opinions about certain things. And these could be small things. We're not talking about big things, as in what school you want to go to, and they say, I want to go to school way across town somewhere. That might not even be an option, but it might be something that's very small that we can have them really be involved in to make a decision about. Because it might be what instrument you want to play, what extracurricular activity you want to be a part of. Really anything. Um, there's so many different things that children could be involved in the decision making process. So consider that, okay? All right. Number four, consider the long term impacts. Remember, we are raising emotionally healthy children. So we're going to evaluate the consequences. What types of implications will this decision have on my child's well-being and development and their happiness overall? Is it best for my child to attend school? Are they constantly bullied to the point where I'm seeing a decline in their mental health, their withdrawal from social activities, friends? Or is it okay for me to potentially homeschool, allow them to be homeschooled? Um, you know, what is it is that we really need to consider as long-term impacts in the decision making that we do for our kids? So, and then we're also going to evaluate or prioritize stability. We're going to aim for decisions that provide stability and consistency for our child. And this is huge, especially when it comes to rules and routines. Now, your parenting situation is going to be different. Parenting situation is different from yours. And I know your co-parenting situation is different from mine. So I remember when I was even married, uh, I always considered the boy's father the fun parent. And I was the one that provided more structure um, and organization to their lives. And that necessarily didn't change, once we got divorced. Um, but it's helpful when you also know what how your other co-parent is. What battles do you really have to fight and which ones you don't. Like, I don't fight the battle of my kids going to bed at a certain time. You know, I know that when they get here, they're going to go to bed at a certain time. They know they're going to come over here and get to bed at a certain time. And overall, when it is a long-term impact, if the long-term impact of the boys, if their grades are dropping or something like that, then that's a discussion that, we can have with each other. Say, hey, let's try to get them into bed a little bit earlier. If they're having testing, you know, hey, can they get to bed a little bit earlier? So it's just certain things that, we could just talk about, and it works out perfectly fine because we're communicating. Okay. All right. So that was the fourth one. Got two more. The fifth one is make collaborative decisions. So not only are you involving the child, you and the co-parent are talking together, but you're actually working together to make decisions that reflect a joint commitment to the child's best interest. Once a decision is made, you know, um, we're going to hold fast to it, because we know this is in the best interest of our child. It's us being willing to compromise and finding a mutual agreeable solution for our child. And I mean, I just like I said, every co-parent situation is different. I cannot stress that enough. The way I do things might not be the way you do things. But making up an agreement, you know, if that works for you, do it. Put your plans on paper, just so you all can reference them, um, for even future decisions that you might decide that you want to make. And I also want to mention, all decisions, all agreements don't have to be um, forever. Because our child is going to grow, our child's going to evolve, our child is going to change. So there's certain things that, these aren't going to be here forever, because we know, these are our child. But we're also in these steps that we're talking about, we're also considering the long-term impacts as well when we make these decisions. And we're considering what's best for our child. So we're also going to monitor and review. That's the seventh one. Or is it the sixth one? Yeah, sixth one. I think so. Seventh one, fifth one. I don't know. I just know I got one more. I might have miscounted. But anyway, we are going to monitor and review these decisions. We're going to see how are they impacting my child? Because we can change. Is it really meeting our child's needs? As you know, parenting does not have a rule book. We don't have um, a guideline, a rule book for managing our child. And then, of course, every child is different as well. in the decision making. So we're going to communicate. There's that word again. We're going to communicate to make sure that our child is good, no matter whether the child is at our house or the other child's. I mean, other people's house. No matter if they're only there for a few days, a couple of weeks, a week, or whatever. We're going to communicate and say, okay, how is this particular decision, what we talked about, how did it work? You know, are they making adjustments? How are they doing? Because we want our child to be happy. We want our child to be productive. And overall, we want to. So now, the last one I want to mention is seek support. You know, contact me if you need support in resolving any type of agreement, um, any type of, or you're at a crossroads and you're like, okay, what is really the child's best interest in this case? How can we work together? And sometimes you just need someone else to kind of be there as a sounding board, and also someone that is on the outside looking in, that can really help and support you to understanding, because overall, you know, you both have the answer for your child. So I really hope that this talk really helped you today. I mean, children are our legacy. You know, they are what it is that's going to carry our name on, you know, what we stand for. They represent us in the world, just like, oh, we should all be represented. Us believers, we should represent God. Our kids represent us as well. So please let me know, you know, what your thoughts are, your insights. I hope you wrote down some things, wrote down even especially the definition of effective communication. But feel free to contact me. I'm open for booking right now, so feel free to contact me if you need my assistance. And because remember, I'm here on this journey with you. You can go to www.iamfreecoaching.com to set up an appointment. And the first session is on me, just so you know. So, but I look forward to seeing you all soon. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and the rest of your summer. Bye-bye.